Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Hacking on Fedora Infrastructure Applications. I am Aurélien Montpart and I'm going to work on some bug today. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. So, who's here? Let me check the chat right now. So, which one was it? Was this one? All right. Still not very much used to the Twitch UI, but I guess I'll get there. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. So I have, as always, selected a few applications that I could hack on today. But if you have other ideas or things that you want me to look at, you can totally do that. Please mention it in the chat, and I'll have a look. And if it's small enough that I can hopefully fix that in the time frame of this stream, so a maximum of 2 hours, but going slowly because I'll be explaining things along the way, then yeah, I'll do my best. All right. Here is the page of easy fixes for the Fedora project. It's an unofficial page, but I'm still using it. Basically, the idea is that it collects the issues marked with the label easy fix or good first issue or whatever the project registers with, and it collects them and it gets them all into this page. So if you can, there is a wiki that you can edit to register your project with it. I know it's probably too small for you. Let me make that bigger. Yeah, hopefully you can read that better. So I'm going to go to the Fedora Infra group, which has quite a few applications. There are some that I know, some that I know nothing about. So I'm not going to select those, of course. And then I'm going to look at the bugs that are there and which one I could fix today. So we have Anitya here. There is here an issue about adding a field into the version API. I've checked that earlier, and there was already someone that proposed to work on it, so I'll let them do it. This one, get release date with API. Okay, I could look at it, but I don't know much about Anitya yet, so maybe if somebody suggests it, but otherwise I'll go with the ones that I know already. I'm more confident in the time that it's going to take to fix those bugs. There's Buddy. This one is actually it's very simple, but it's going to touch a lot of files, and I'm not going to do that in those sessions. There is an issue with data grepper here, something about the list of available messages that could be added to the footer of the page. It's very simple, just HTML. Basically, most of the work would be to set up data grepper and set up data number so that we can actually test the bug, test our fix. And the fix itself is going to be just, a link in HTML somewhere in a template. And that's basically it. So very simple, but useful to demonstrate how to get data grepper and data number set up if you guys are interested in that. For the record, data number and data grepper are two tools that we use to view the messages that have gone through the bus, the messaging bus in Fedora, and view the history of that. Data number is subscribed to all the messages and stores them in a database, and data grepper is basically an API that can make requests into this database. FedImage, I don't know about that one. I think it's going to be retired anyway. This one is no longer used. Fedora messaging, there are two issues there. One is already being worked on by Lenka. The other one, yeah, sure, I could have a look at that. It's not very, very interesting because it's been created long time ago and nobody touched it, mentioned it in any way, so maybe not so many people interested in that. There's FMN. FMN is the Fedora messaging notifications, which is basically the central piece for notifications in Fedora. There is one issue here that is kind of similar to one that is here, 877. I've mentioned those already in the past. If you've viewed the other streams, they may be familiar to you. Basically, when you create a rule, you go through a list of hoops and you select things, you change forms, and it's easy to miss the final commit step because the button is in a corner and it's not very obvious that you need to click on it. That otherwise your rule is not auto-saved during your creation. It's only saved when you click on the commit button. So there are ways to make it easier to hit that button. One would be to show a warning if the user tries to leave the page before clicking on the commit button. Another way would be to make it more visible, maybe. There is 877 suggests to create a cancel button here to make it clear that if you want to, that there is still something to cancel. So those two can be addressed together. And it's going to be TypeScript because the UI of FMN is written in TypeScript. Another one would be 859, add a footer to email notifications. That's about adding a link to FMN itself when an email is sent out to people. This way they could click on the email and get back to FMN and maybe modify their rule if they want to unsubscribe from it or if they want to modify it, etc. Next one would be add a link to accounts.fedoraproject.org for destination settings. It's true that it's not obvious in the destination that all the possible destinations for a user are gathered from their account on Fedora Project. So there will be a link to that to make that clear. Okay, next one would be there's two buttons that do the same thing, but they don't have the same label. There's about no script tag for browsers with JavaScript disabled. And there is, here it's also a UI thing. When you select, you can filter the messages that you get per application, and they want to have an all applications button to click so that it selects all of them. But actually, if you select none of them, it disables the filters. So having no application selected is exactly the same as having all applications selected. But the UI is not clear about that. It will be about making it clear. All right, that's all for FMN. Next one is FreeIPA Fast. That's our extensions to FreeIPA. FreeIPA is the central database and authentication system that we use for accounts. All right, I'm not going to go all over those. There's one in Noggin that is interesting. That it's about adding an RSS link to Noggin, and if you want to add it to Noggin, then you have to add it to the database IPA, as we said before. So it's going to be a change in FreeIPA Fast to add the field in the database, which is actually an LDAP server, but let's call it a database for now. And then add a field in Noggin to get that value, and add a field in FASJSON to get that value, but from the API. And there's a client-side validation of OTP in login form. That's very simple. It's just regex in some HTML field, basically. Okay, Tarrier is going to be retired. Well, it's been rewritten at the moment. Badger Sarah, same thing. This one already worked on it, and we can't really go over the finish line because it's deployed on a very old server, and we can't really, well, it's going to be very, very hard to do it now, while it will be much easier to do it when that server has moved to RHEL 9. Enterprise Linux 9 or CentOS 9. So not now, we'll do that later. Moat, I don't know much about it, but it would be interesting to have a look at it if necessary. No, this one would not be too hard, I think. Auto-link all URLs in the summary and logs. That would be about detecting what is a URL and making a list out of it. And there's one about messages, so message schemas sent by the Toothless. The Toothless is the backend piece of releasemonitoring.org. The front-end piece is Anitya, and the backend piece is the Toothless. That's basically what gathers the new releases and tests the builds and all that. And it sends messages, but those messages have no str attached, str defined, like no string representation of it. So it just sends the body of the message, and it's not very useful for users. That's an issue that I have opened. That's why I know what's in it. I can totally work on that if necessary. Right, there's about Anitia here again. And those other projects I do not know much about. Yeah. All right, so I have collected all those into a text file, and I am going to create a poll with this. Hopefully that's going to work this time. Okay, where are my extensions in this stream? Just a minute. Let me reload the page. I see no extensions. That's not great. Probably because I fiddled with the UI before the interface. Yeah, it's there. All right. I've tried many polling systems before. Haven't found one that worked great for me yet, so I'm trying another one today. Question would be, what am I going to work on? So, first possibility will be about data grepper. Okay. Second one would be FMN, the UI thing. Next one was going to be FMN, the footer, the email footer thing. That's going to be in Python, by the way. Next one is going to be adding an RSS, adding field in Noggin FASJSON IPA. And, looks like I can't add more. Can I add more? No. I can add more? No. Oh no. So I have a poll and I can only have 4 answers. That's not great. One missed attempt again. And the last one would be about the new hotness and STR. So what could I remove? No, if you want to work on that one, the message schemas, you'll just have to type it in the chat, I suppose. And I'm going to make a checkboxes poll. Maybe that's going to work. Let us see. The poll has started. Has it really? Yeah, you should see something on your screen. And there's like a time limit on it. You should be able to check multiple boxes if you want to, if you want to select multiple, like if there's many or several options that are fine with you. Yeah, it seems like a small time, but okay, that was a very short time. Yep, I didn't know that you couldn't have more than 4 answers. That's a bit too bad. Okay, and I don't see. Yeah, that still doesn't work. So Lenka says that she's clicking on Noggin FastJSON, but nothing happens again. There's a there's a tiny checkbox at the end of the line. It's not very visible. Let me try again. Start survey. The poll has started. It looks like there's something at the end of the line that you may be able to click on. Yeah, I'm not really sure how it's supposed to work. I'm just trying this for the first time. and I don't really know where I'm supposed to see the results of this poll. So, not awesome. All right, nice try. Didn't work. So Jamrisha, you did click on something. Hey, Linux returned. So Jamrisha, you did click on something and that worked? Oh, so how should I pronounce that? Xemboy? Okay, cool. Because thanks. So I'm not actually seeing the results, which is a little bit too bad because, I mean, they should be somewhere. Yeah, I do not know where I'm supposed to see the results of this poll. Yeah, not ideal. Oh, Extreme Boy. Okay, got it. Um, okay, thanks. Okay, it didn't work as well as I would have liked to. Should I try something else for the poll, or could you just like paste or type in the chat what you would be interested in? Let me get the list back for you, and maybe so. Let us say this is probably too small, right? Yeah, that should be better. So 1 is going to be data grepper, 2 is going to be the UI in FMN, 3 is going to be Python and FMN, 4 is going to be Noggin, FASJSON, and the RSS link, and 5 is going to be the message schema for the new hotness. All right. Oh, hey. Yeah, I've seen your name. So Linux Returned or Extreme Boy says it's cool to see some Fedora here. I did some docs and I was on the podcast host with the first 2 seasons. So yeah, very cool. I haven't listened to the podcast yet, but I definitely will. I love podcasts, so I should totally do that. Um, so Lenka says that she's more interested in the more complex ones because there's more learning potential there, and I totally agree. Um, and I think so. I think the first one is not really complex unless you have no idea how to set up data grepper and data number, and you want to learn that because that will help in that regard. And the second one is about TypeScript, and it's just UI, but it's TypeScript, and you may not have played with that yet. Third one is pretty simple, I should say. It's just we'd be mostly explaining what the architecture of FMN is and how to set it up. And Noggin and FastJSON touches several distinct components. It's basically it's going to be mostly a review because there is some work that has been done here already. And the last one is pretty simple. It's about message schemas again. So Extreme Boy said that he tries to do infra a lot of time but get lost in the process every time. Yeah. So we are working on a new onboarding process for new people in the infra team. Kevin has posted a long blog post, well, not blog post, but a long post on the Fedora discussions about this as of yesterday, my evening, his day, I guess. And so it's still rough. It's a long read, but we are working on that, and hopefully we'll be able to onboard people easily for the future. So I still don't see anybody voting for an issue in the chat. I guess Lenka already said that she's more for the number 4 one. But if you guys or other people want to give their preferences, I'm happy to give you a few minutes for that, and I will happily drink tea in the meantime. So Jamrisha says 4. I'm pronouncing this right, Jamrisha? Yeah. Extreme Voice 1. So for your information, I am reading out loud the number that you vote for while you are doing it. Oh, it's James. Okay. Hey, James. So if you see me saying, if you hear me saying something that you just wrote, it's because I just saw you writing it, and that gives you an idea of the round trip between what you type and when I read it and when it's encoded by my computer and uploaded to Twitch and thrown it back to you. It's a pretty long round trip, but that's always the case unless you have a dedicated hardware encoding card, which I do not have. So, Lenka is having a very comfortable English breakfast tea right now, and I am drinking a tea. It's a white tea flavored with pear and iced chestnut. Iced as in not cold, but as in icing, you know. So it's very good. It's a very good tea. I'm not going to tell you which brand it is because otherwise I will have to tick this sponsored thingy in Twitch and YouTube, which I do not want to do. But you can ask me in private. It's very good. Pear and iced chestnut. Pretty good. All right. So James would rather see something about Noggin and FASJSON. There is one vote by Lenka already on that one, and Extreme Boy says rather see things about data grabber. All right. I guess that means it's 2 on the 4 and only 1 on the 1. I am sorry, but that is what the numbers are today. Hopefully, I'll be able to demo data grabber and data number another time where you'll be there. All right, so let's go on the Noggin and FastJSON thing. So the status of this is that there's someone from the team who has worked on Planet Fedora. I don't know if you know what Planet Fedora is. It's a blog aggregator, so it gets many RSS feeds and put them all in a gigantic feed of articles. For that, at the moment, people have to declare what their RSS feed are in a file on people.fedoraproject.org in a specific format. It works, but it's not great. What we would like to do is put that in the user profile, in the user account, with the rest of the information. Let me close that for the moment. Yeah, I totally want to save it. All right, let me show that to you. No, it's not that. Or did I not connect to the planet for? Yeah, that's fedoraplanet.org. Absolutely. Its name. The thank you for. So Extreme Voice said that he loves my poster on the background, and he is indeed called Toothless in English. In French, it is. What is it in French? Because I only saw it in English. I think it's called. It's not Toothless. Now that I'm thinking in English, I can't find the name in French. That's terrible. No, I can't find it. I have to research that. I'm sorry, but that's very important. Chimuleo. Okay, what does it mean in Spanish? Does it mean toothless as well, or? Croque-mou. Thank you very much. Croque-mou. Yeah, right. Thank you. I was going to research that anyway. Thank you, TCIT World. Are you French as well? Or do you just like speak French? Are you maybe from Canada or? Okay. Hey, happy to see you here. Croque-mou. Croque-mou means soft chew, I guess. So Extreme Boy says the chimuleo is the way we call kids when they lost their first teeth. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Interesting. Yeah, so it's actually So it's a piece of fabric actually. Let me show you that. And it's hanging there, and it's really nice. I really love it. All right. Should we go back to Fedora Planet and RSS feeds? Yeah, we totally should. All right. This is Fedora Planet. That's aggregating quite a few blogs. The blog list is here. There is a ton. Basically, my scroll bar is so small that you can barely see it. Blah, 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 blah. Anybody who contributes to the Fedora project can have their blog added here. So you can have a blog. Oh, in Spanish in Spain it is desdentado. And what does it mean? No tooth or toothless maybe? All right. Toothless. Funny. That is more direct translation. In French, it doesn't mean toothless. It means soft bite, some more or less. So yeah. Extreme Boy was saying that it was from Latin American Spanish, where it's called chimuleo. Very nice. Everybody learns things today. That's great. All right. So this is a big aggregator of blogs, and so people can set their RSS feed in there. They can link to any kind of RSS feed. It can be their main blog, but it can also be a sub RSS feed coming from like a tag, for example, if they want to be more specific. And Extreme Boy said that it's their article at the very top. All right, well done. Oh, that's pretty cool. I haven't ever played with Flatseal yet, but I will maybe have a look at that. That's interesting. Recording app. Yeah, nice. Okay, minute text. Huh. I have published my first Flatpak on FlatHub last week, or was it the week before? Well, it's very recent, and so I'm just discovering it. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Oh yeah. Some apps to try on Fedora. That's a very good idea. Yep. All right, and it's a second article of a series of, well, two at the moment, of course. So yeah, I'll definitely check out the first one. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so say we want to add. So Fedora Magazine has their own blog in there. Yeah, it's published, absolutely. And any user can have their blog added in the list. And there's a gigantic list of blogs, and you can have a feed for the planet itself, of course. All right, so we want people to have their feed in their account so that they can easily add it. And we want them to be able to add more than one feed, because why not? They might have blogs on different platforms, for example. So how do we do that? Well, first you have to understand how the data is stored. There is a database of account that is called IPA, or FreeIPA in our case. It's an LDAP database plus a lot of services around it, such as Kerberos server, a REST API. I think it has Radius also. There is a certificate generation system, public infrastructure basically. There is quite a few services related to authentication, authorization, and security in general. So that's where we store our accounts. And our user profiles have extensions added to the standard schema in LDAP, because the standard schema in LDAP has a lot of things, but there are some things that are specific to Fedora, so we've added them as LDAP schemas. they would be in this project, FreeIPA FAS. Here we have a schema that is added to FreeIPA on startup, and there are a few fields that we are adding to the profile. So there is let's say a group of attributes called object class in LDAP language that we create, and it contains all those attributes. There is a time zone, there is the local, there is the IRC nick for that person, GPG key ID, the creation time, a status node that is currently not really used. There is an email that is used for Bugzilla. There is the username in GitHub, the username in GitLab. There is a website URL, and there is a private Boolean. It's a Boolean match here. There's private Boolean because there is a feature that you can enable with this that will hide all but the main fields if you want all the rest to be private. And there is a pronoun list. Yeah, substring, okay. So what we would like to add is something in there that would be about the RSS feed. Because the website URL doesn't necessarily have the RSS feed, and we may want to have a subtag of our blog in here, and not the entire blog. All right, so there's already some work that has been done on that. One is by Pedro, who worked on that, someone from our team who worked on that before, but I had worked on it just a bit before when he started mentioning it. So I have actually worked on, actually made a pull request before him, 42, 43, haha, first. It's a bit too bad because that means that there's duplicated work, but sometimes it happens. So let us check what the difference between the two is. All right, so there's a change in the README. Okay, of course. There is a change in the CLI, or the Python API that is used to retrieve the fields. We are adding the fast RSS URL field here. Okay, very good. Does Pedro do the same? I suspect he does. Yep, except he does not use the same extension here, so it means that he only accepts one RSS URL here. The question mark here means there's only one, and the star means there can be multiple. That's the IPA API here. It's not LDAP specifically. And I am stripping it, and I guess that Pedro as well. Okay. So here he has the attribute, equality, single value. Yeah, that's coherent. So he has the RSS URL here as a single valued field in LDAP, and adds it to the list. Or was it? Yeah, adds it to the list of fields in the object class. And in my case, I am not adding it as what did I change in FastUser? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's just organized differently. It's a bit weird, but okay. So I allow for multiple Fedora RSS URL fields. I think I'm going to go with mine because we might want to have multiple RSS URLs. Do we? Okay, I'm adding number here. Yep. Incrementing the number in the OID. Very well. Here I am adding it to the IPA UI as a multi-valued field, and they are that it's not a multi-valued field, which is coherent again. And here I am adding it to the update file so that to change the ACI, so that users can change their own values here, adding it to the list, and adding it to, yeah, I'm adding the index here so that I can have an index on it. Okay, and Pedro does not do that. So he forgot to add it to the update file. So okay, so I'm going to go with mine because I think we are going to end up with multiple values for else as well roles in the end, even though we might only set up one at the beginning. I think we will end up having many of them, or letting users have many of them. So before I merge that, I'm going to set up IPA, and so I can work on that. So for that, I'm going to start a terminal. I have one here, but I'm going to open a new one. Please open a new one. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to use a large font profile so that you can see it. And I am going to go to Tiny Stage. So Tiny Stage is a set of virtual machines that we commonly use on Fedora infrastructure. It has IPA, it has a virtual machine for authentication, including Noggin, FASJSON, and Epsilon. It has the elections application, the mirror manager. It has the Tiny Stage machine, which is basically the bus is on there. Fedora RSRC is dist-git. It's like the instance of Pagure with the dist-git extensions, such as the one we use for the source files. And there's Pagure as well. So I'm going to start IPA. Okay, if you want to know where this comes from, it's again on GitHub in the Fedora Infra group, and it's called tiny dash stage. Basically, you check out this repo and you run vagrant up, and it should set you up properly. Here it asks for my password because there is a plugin called Host Manager that will update the etc host values of all the machines and on the host so that it's easy to talk to machines using their name. So I have IPA running now. I can SSH into it. It's taking a long time because by default it checks for a Kerberos ticket, which takes a long time. There we go. Okay, IPA is running. I can show you using the browser on, I think it's ipa.tinystage.test. There you go. It's connecting. All right. There is an admin user. By default, it has the password. And we have a few random names that have been created in there already. Let's take Adam Nelson, for example. They have Fedora account system information in there. Waiting. It has information, but it has nothing in there in the Fedora account system thingy. But it should, anyway. So now what I'm going to do is merge the I'm going to merge the FreeIPA FAS change. In the Vagrant box, it's checked out already in there. Sure, does it then belong to you? To me? Oh, it belongs to root. Yeah, that's not great. Okay. So now I'm going to merge the pull requests. This one right here. Rebase and merge. Yes, please do it. And it's done. And delete my branch, so clean up at the same time. Thank you. That is done. And if I get the newer version now, I am seeing the FastRSS URL attribute. All right. So now I should update. I should run install again. And that is going to install the new files and restart IPA. Okay, well, I don't care. Let's do an IPA CGL restart. I'm not really in a rush. Nobody's using that VM except me. All good. Cabros, HTTP. That's the PKI. Any questions so far? Feel free to ask, right? Okay, IPA, whatever you want. I guess restarting Tomcat is not very fast. Something that I'm not extremely surprised about. Okay, done. All right, let us see what the UI says now. I'm going to restart. Reload the page. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Give me information. Very well. And here I have RSS URL with an add button that lets me add many of them. Okay, that is great. So the field is there. The field is there. That's cool. Okay, now let's go to Noggin. Pedro has already done some work on it. And change from multiple single community decided to remove the subplanets from Fedora planet. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so they decided to remove the subplanets from Fedora planet. That's fine, but it doesn't mean that users can only have one RSS feed. It's not really related to subplanets. So I think we can still keep it as multi-valued in IPA, and even if the UI only shows one field, I think it's more future-proof if we do it that way. So let's go to Pedro's field, Pedro's pull request. Okay. It all looks good. Nice. Looks sane. It's missing tests, but at the moment it's going to be sufficient, I would say. So there's a message from Magicaros says from kitchen.appliance.coffeemaker import coffee. Well, as Sting would say, I don't drink coffee, I drink tea, my dear. But coffee is fine if that's your thing. All right, yeah, let me check this out in the Noggin app. So we're done with IPA, that's cool, and now I'm going to bring up Noggin. Noggin and FASJSON actually, who are both in the auth VM. We're gonna have to wait for it to stand up. Yeah, so what could I say about this pull request? It has the field, it adds the field in the form. It's optional. Okay, all good. It adds the representation, RSS URL, okay. It looks coherent with the website URL, it's underscore, etc. Yeah, and on the user page, it adds a field called RSS URL, has a link as an icon here, which is fine. I suppose we could have a tag. It would maybe look better, but it's fine. And there's the link. Looks sane. I wish there were a unit test, but I suppose that if all the tests pass, it means that it's still 100% coverage. Yeah, I guess. Okay. All right, let's check it out. So, Noggin, where are you? You're here. Fantastic. Let me SSH into it. Long again. Magicaros. Welcome. Since I see that it's your first message, welcome to the stream. Okay. I should have the sources somewhere. No. Where is login installed? How did I install Noggin usually on this box? I do not know. I'll have a look. Ansible, roll Noggin, tasks. Okay, what does it do? Install Noggin with pip. Okay, it's just installed with pip then. Yeah, alright, I guess it works. So, in that case, what we're going to do is go to where it's installed, in pip installs thing in user local lib python blah blah blah, and there we should have Noggin, and we do. Okay, now I'm going to download this as a patch. Blah blah blah. Oh, you know. It works. You can just add patch to the end of URL and it will give you that. Give me the patch, please. Oh yeah, of course. Moi au. Yeah, basically I cannot write in there because I'm still the simple vagrant user. Okay. So MagicRS asks if Fedora is Red Hat based, and that's actually quite the exact contrary. Red Hat Enterprise Linux is based on Fedora, not the other way around. Okay, so Now I'm going to apply this patch. So for that, I need root access. And I'm going to apply the patch. So the patch, no, it's not, oh, it's one something, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm gonna have to strip two directories from this to get to the files that I want, which means I'm going to have to do patch my minus p2, and I'm going to try it with dry run before and see what that does this work? Yeah, apparently it works. Okay, I'm going to put the dry run, patches are applied, restart Apache. Apache is restarted. Now I can go to auth.tinystage.test/noggin, which is where Noggin is installed in TinyStage. That is great. I am going to identify as this user, Adam Nelson, for example. Or William Young, why not? Sure, of course. It's not it's not password? Should be password. Maybe I changed it. It's fine. What's the name? It's Adam Nelson. Or do I have caps lock enabled? No. Maybe I can type. That's also possible. All right, that works. So I'm logging in Adam Nelson with this nice robot picture. Okay, so Magic Arrows asks, it says that it's trained because Red Hat came first. So it is true. The story actually the story for Fedora starts about 20 years ago, actually. At the end of 2003, there was a Red Hat 9 distribution that was edited by Red Hat Linux 9, and they wanted to make it clear what was their enterprise offering and what was their the community offering. So and at the same time there was a community of packagers that were writing additional programs for Red Hat 9 that gathered around the infrastructure at Fedora.us. It was led by Warren Togami, and so Red Hat talked to Warren and talked to those people, and the strategy for Red Hat was that they wanted to split that distribution in two, and that's where they created Fedora on the one side for the community project, and Red Hat Enterprise Linux on the other side. That was their enterprise offering, and the plan was to do all the development in Fedora, and regularly they would snapshot Fedora and make RHEL out of it. Let the dust settle a bit, do some validation, partner thingy with partner tests, etc., and they would release RHEL. So Red Hat created, or I should say maybe aggregated, community involvement around Red Hat 9 and called it Fedora, and that was its own distribution. That stood on its own and had its own governance body that was, of course, still linked to Red Hat or closely related to Red Hat. But not entirely. There were the community can do things that Red Hat has no interest in, and Red Hat and Red Hat has sometimes asked for us to pick up things that were not really useful for the community, and we basically didn't do it. But most of the time it works well. Red Hat is I think I heard the number are a bit old, but basically Red Hat is funding for around a third of the manpower or people power, however you want to call that, the developer time in Fedora. So there's 1/3 that comes from Red Hat, as Red Hat employees, and there's 2/3 that come from elsewhere, which is people paid by other companies or volunteers on their free time or people in university and that or people in like other companies that use that for their own purposes but want to add something that fits their purpose as well and they want it to be thrown back to the common pool, you know. So Red Hat came first and created Fedora, and now Fedora is upstream for RHEL, just as the kernel is upstream for Fedora. You know, like we Fedora in Fedora we pick up pieces from the internet and build the distribution, and Red Hat does the same thing with Fedora. It takes Fedora, which is most of what it needs, and adds a few things here and there, and builds RHEL out of it. That's basically the picture. I'm leaving out a lot of things that are not exactly as this, but that's basically the idea. You know, you get the community of open source projects funneled into Fedora and then funneled into RHEL. I hope that's clear. All right, let's get back to it. So I am now logged in, and if I look at my profile here as Adam Nelson, I should have. Yes, I do have an RSS URL here. All right, let us add something. For example, I don't know, example.com/rss.xml. Very well. I'll save it. Did it work? I don't know. My machine is just very slow. Or did I not click it? Maybe I clicked it. Yeah, it's still loading. Sorry, it's very slow. Oh, I hope you can read that, by the way. That should be better. Interesting thing is the RSS URL field that has been added. So Jim says, I have to drop for the recording. Thanks so much. You're welcome. Thanks for coming by. It's always nice to see people here in the chat, so that's cool. It is very slow. What is going on? I do not know. So the VM, so there's like 2 VMs on the moment on my laptop, which is not so recent, and they're both taking up, I'd say, 2 gigs of RAM each. So it's bringing this a bit to a standstill. I hope it'll work eventually. We'll see. It did. Okay, so that's saved. It's still here. Yep, it's still here. Let me view my profile now. Okay, that's great. I have a link to wiki RSS URL. Okay, it's great. It's there. Let us see here if it showed up on my page in IPA. The answer is yes, I have the information here. Okay, so that part works fine. You know what? I'm just going to go there, go to the, was it here? Yes, go to this place, say, hey, you know what? I tested it. It's great. Thank you very much. Which one is it? It's here. Yeah, that is the review. Except, ideally, they would add something. So, in Noggin, we have this system called Town Crier, where it will build our changelog using pieces from this news folder. And it would be great if all the pull requests that change something meaningful have a piece here so that we can build the changelog easily. So I'm going to just suggest Pedro to add that and give you some reference with it because, yeah. So Noggin AAA, that's my documentation. I think I have something about contributing. Yes. And I have something about release notes. Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to be very nitpicky and ask Pedro to add that. Did they, in the commit, did they mention the issue that they fixed? Yeah, not really. 11:55. Very well. Okay. Could you please add fixes to your commit message? Please add a news fragment as described in the contributor doc, which is this doc. Okay. All right, that looks great. Request changes, but it's very close. Do it. Okay, so that's one field in Noggin. Great. Now let's look at the field in FASJSON, because I know there's one. Right, there's one here. Okay. Because we have the field in Noggin, we have the field in IPA, all great, and now we'll add it to FASJSON. Well, we'll add it. Pedro has already done all the work, so we're just going to review that and do it. FASJSON, good thing we have a FASJSON on that machine, right? So, if you want to query FASJSON, you'll have to do it with Kerberos, because that's how it authenticates. So, for example, that's the prefix you have to add to curl if you wanted to use Kerberos. It's a bit long, but you get used to it. Does it work? It's in /v1. Oh yeah, HTTPS, of course. Right. I think there's like a me thing. Wrong credentials. Oh yeah, I'm not authorized. Okay, because I'm not authenticated with Kerberos. That's why. Okay. Init admin. You know which one it is. And now let's try that. Okay, so I'm authenticated as admin now, and I'm going to be able to look at the users list with, what's the name of that user already? Adam Nelson. Okay, so that's their API result. We have a lot of things, but we do not have something about RSS, right? There's websites null, etc. Okay, let's go to FASJSON. I'm guessing it's here as well. Yeah, FASJSON is here as well. Okay, now let us download this patch. Let's look at it. So RSS URL, okay, which we convert from this LDAP attribute. Okay, looks good, looks very simple. Let's get the patch. Done. It looks entirely wrong. There's like nothing in there. What's that? Oh, did I make a, is it like this maybe? Output? No. It's dash O, right? Huh. That's weird. What's wrong? It is the right URL. What about that? Looks better. Maybe it did not follow the redirect. Looks good. Okay. All right. Same thing again. Patch minus P2 because I suppose it's the same thing. Dry run. And this. And some of them are going to fail. It's fine. I'll fix that. No, it doesn't fail. Oh, okay. 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 So I have things patched now, and I'm going to restart Apache. And now, what happens if I run curl again on my API? What do I see here? What do I see here? Yes, I have the field. All right. Just to that. That's good. Okay, Pedro did all the work. Everything's good. There's just a tiny problem here with the news fragments again, because yeah, we're using that in FastJSON as well. So I'm going to suggest him to add a news fragment as well. Do I want to point him to the docs? Yeah, it's better. All right. Sorry. Do I have a contributing doc in FastJSON? That's a good question. Hopefully I do. And nope. All right. I'll just use the same thing from Noggin and hope no one notices. In FastJSON, okay, all good. Okay, I hope that GitHub stores that when I change. Okay, reformatted file, add RSS URL field. Okay, yeah, it would be nice to have a link to, like a reference to the ticket that it closes. Except there is no ticket for that, right? I don't think there is a ticket because the ticket is in Noggin basically. So it's fine. Yeah. So it's all fine. Okay, so then I'm just going to add that to the review. Okay, cool. And request changes. Okay, so this is pretty close to done. The only thing that we had to do is basically merge the FreeIPA FAS extension, which worked perfectly. The thing is here. So hopefully we are going to see this RSS feed element soon in Noggin. Yeah, that'd be great. And people will be able to add that. And Pedro, who's working on a rework of the planet, is going to be able to use that field and to gather the fields, to gather the URLs. Nice. Yep. Very nice. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to see? Because I'm pretty much done with this issue. Waiting for the round trip thing. For what I say to be encoded, sent to Twitch, redistributed to everyone. I wonder how many people are in the chat right now. standard thing. If not, then I suppose we're good with this one and we can close it. Is there anything else we want to check? Fedora is very cool. FreeIPA FAS. Okay, that was 142. All right, I'm going to end it there then now. If you have no more questions and if we're done with this issue, then we can happily remove it from the list. Well, we will be able to as soon as Pedro fixes the two minor things that are left to do. And yeah, thanks for watching and staying here for the duration of the stream. I hope you learned stuff such as how Toothless is named in different languages. And it was I'm happy to have had you here and see you next time. Next time will be next Friday, same hour, same place, and we'll see what is left as issues. But I'm sure we will have issues to work on. We're rarely out of issues to work on the Fedora project. Maybe we will not have easy issues to work on, but I think there will still be some. That's all for me. I'm signing off. Thanks for staying here and thanks for passing by. Even if you couldn't stay for the whole duration of the stream, it's all good. This is there will be a play. Well, it's been recorded and it will be uploaded to YouTube afterwards, so you can see the pieces that you've missed. Okay. Thanks again. See you next time. Bye.